This is TWiT.
Talk about this Yale app that you discovered here that wants to be the Waze for coronavirus.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It's a crowdsourced coronavirus app. It comes from Yale's human nature research lab, something like that. That's where the name of it comes from, which is Hunala. Hunala. And the idea is that they want to help you know better what your risks are, both with your geographic location and some risk factors that you enter. So there's a daily survey that you'll go through that's actually fairly lengthy. You're going to give them your phone number. Some people may resist this as a privacy invasion. That's going to be up to you. But I do like the risk report. So, for instance, based on the information I gave it about my risk factors, my current health, and the location, it says we're in Sonoma County, regional risk very high, but my personal risk is very low. And it actually asks you for the contact information for the people you spend time with. And the theory would be that it's kind of like contact tracing, that you're giving up that information. I trust Yale. They're not going to do anything bad with it. You invite your other contacts that you submit here to add the app and take the survey daily. So that'll give you a better idea of your risk based on their behaviors. So it's an interesting idea. This is just, and it also will do notifications. So it'll schedule my survey at 8:30 every morning when I wake up. I can also, so it's using the principles of network science for the early detection of outbreaks of respiratory disease. So you can construct your social network. I suspect this is something they've been working on since before COVID-19, but this is yet another approach to contact tracing. The problem with all of these approaches, Apple's included, every state has a different app or doesn't have an app at all. The places where this is worked best is countries where they have a lot of compliance. Everybody's, participating. Singapore just announced that they have an app which is only 25% adoption rate. That's not enough for it to do contact tracing properly. So they've now announced they're going to give every citizen of Singapore it looks like a little poker chip. It's a token with Bluetooth in it. No GPS, but Bluetooth. And it's kind of like the Apple plan where when you see somebody else with the token, it records that. I was in contact with this person. And the whole idea is you keep that in your pocket. You don't give it to anybody. If you're diagnosed with COVID-19, then you give that chip to the health authorities who can use it to contact trace, because you've been recording everywhere I guess not everywhere you've been, but everybody you've run into, because it doesn't have GPS in it. So there are a lot of interesting solutions. The problem is, unless it's widely adopted, it's not going to happen. And here in the U.S., I think it's so fragmented, it seems unlikely. Anyway, interesting idea from Yale. I'm participating. I've invited my the people I'm quarantining with to participate. Maybe a little peer pressure, I can do that. But then they'd have to get their contacts and on and on and on, and that's not going to happen probably.
But you tried at least.
I tried. It's an interesting idea from Yale.
Yeah, I think that's great. Any situation like that, and the little token thing, I think is a really fascinating idea as well.
I hope that they can do that. Although there's a petition in Singapore now. That Singapore has a fairly authoritarian government. It is not. It's not as free as we are. And yet their citizens have circulated a petition saying, I refuse to use this token. Only 25% adoption of the app. Part of the thought is, well, not everybody has a smartphone. Maybe if we give you these tokens, you don't need a smartphone for that. Already 36,000 signatures on the petition saying, I'm not going to use the token either. So I guess maybe sometimes if you have an authoritarian government, you're more afraid of using these things, I guess.
I could see that. That makes sense. Yeah.